It's already 10:30. I'll start today's seminar. Today's seminar is for Idris, and the title is Sources of Management of Marine Pollution Along the Bay of Bengal Coast of Bangladesh. Is published on Marine Pollution Bulletin last year. And today, Dr. Jong Myung-lee present. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jong-soo. I'll share my screen. Okay, as Jong-soo already told you, we will study the paper titled Sources and Management of Marine Pollution Along the Bay of Bengal Coast of Bangladesh. This study was conducted by international research team consists of researchers from Thailand, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia. I will read the abstract first and let's check the figure and tables. Marine debris is often detected everywhere in the oceans after it entered the marine ecosystem from various sources. Marine pollution is a major threat to the marine ecosystem in Bangladesh. A primary study was conducted to identify the sources of marine litter: plastic, foamed plastic, clothes, glass, ceramic, metals, paper, and cardboard along the Bay of Bengal coast. From the observations, the range of abundance of the collected marine litter was 0.14 to 0.58 items per square meter. From the 10 sampling sites, the highest amount of marine litter was observed for aluminum cans, about 3,500, followed by plastic bottles, 3,200. The spatial distribution pattern indicated that all the study area had a beach litter of all types of materials. The present investigation showed that plastic were the dominant pollutant in the marine ecosystem in Bangladesh. The Clean Coast Index, CCI, value indicated that the Cox's Bazar's coast was clean to dirty class. The abundance, distribution, and pollution of marine litter along the coastal belt pose a potential threat to the entire ecosystem. This study will help come up with ways to manage and get rid of marine litter along the coast in an effective way. So you can understand they conducted a marine debris survey on the beaches of Cox's Bazar in Bay of Bengal in Bangladesh. When I first read this paper, I've confused. Is this one that we've already studied in our oceans seminar? But I found out the format of the paper is quite similar, and content is similar too. I will tell you later. And let's go to figure one. Figure one is about study area is in Bay of Bengal of Bangladesh, and you can see the stations, 10 stations on Cox's Bazar beach. As the contents that Cox's Bazar beach is the longest natural coast beach in Bangladesh, but when I heard that it is the longest natural beach in the world, maybe. And next figure show us the abundance of beach debris items on studied site. You can see the aluminum cans are most abundant with a number of 3,500, and followed by plastic bottles, a number of about 320 or 30, 120 or 20, 3,000 and over 200 maybe. And you can see the spatial composition of every debris items. Bottom bar chart is abundance of debris items, but you can understand this is a duplication of a same bar chart with and without spatial distribution. So when you prepare the journal paper, you should not duplicate this kind of same bar chart. We only need top graph, top chart for showing the abundance and site distribution, spatial distribution of the debris items. And next, go to table 1, showing the abundance of marine litter for each station and seasonal mean swept area density and CCI for each station. You can see station 1 is clean, station 5 is moderate, and station 6 and 7 is dirty by CCI classification. For figure 3, you can see PCA result from the survey, and you can see they are showing the PCI for debris type, and maybe the red dot indicate the from the survey sites. So they are overlapped two information in same graph. But if you show the station name, and you can understand which survey station is affected by the debris types with the debris items. But there are many overlap of text, and they do not showing the station number, station name. So this kind of graph should be amended when you prepare the journal paper. Next, go to figure 4, showing the similarity dendrogram of for abundance of different type of marine litter. So they are showing 9 cluster of debris types from their survey result. But I think 9 is too many. We cannot understand what type of debris are move together in, or distributed similarly in Cox's Bazar Beach. So I think we can make this cluster for 6 with the red line I drew in this graph. So if in this way we can make 6 cluster, and we can find out, we can make some kind of groups for debris items. But they are suggesting 9 cluster, but I cannot understand what indication or what information they want to show us in this graph and in the text. And I think finally, the table 2 showing the comparison of abundance of debris from various previous research. In this table, they refer the result from South Korea, but I found out this paper is not from Earth, not from Korea. This paper is the research on Georgia, United States. Do not include any information about South Korea. I've checked content. I've searched Nakdong River or South Korea, but I couldn't find. So this is error. of reference, but they did it in their previous report. The same error is in same kind of tables. It's very problematic. Okay, and finally, the figure 5 showing the regulatory acts for safety assessment of marine litter with the conceptual policy framework for sustainable management of marine litter in Bangladesh. So they are showing the mixture of marine litter, hazard and risk. And they suggest unexploited research theme, including ecotoxicology and plastic in food web, sustainable management intervention option, and policy and regulations. But I'm not sure this figure is from their research result. This is kind of a general suggestion. It is not based on their research result or their own findings. So I can't understand why the LEPRI let this figure in this paper. Okay, let's get back to the introduction. Do you have any kind of comment? Burning question on figure and tables?
I have a question.
Yeah, Ellie?
In table 2,
Yeah.
they say densities of marine litter reported from beaches throughout the world. But is there a reason why they include sea?
Table 2.
Yeah. Why they compare with sea and river if it's based on the beach?
It has many problems, I think.
Yeah, I think this is from some kind of report or something. So they already made this table for compare the report comparison of previous result, previous survey, and they are using this table in this paper and other paper and other report and something. So it includes the result from sea and river.
One more thing, Ellie, could you say about what paper? Because it's like Japan Sea, and the authors is Kushui and Noda, is about beach sample. And here, several rivers, or it says about the Atlantic Ocean, Brazil, from Oigman, and this kind of thing we have to check, because the name of sea or ocean just means the area, and they may survey on the beach, because I read some papers from this table and they surveyed beach. So please check.
Thank you, Jong-soo. Okay, I will get back to introduction and quickly brief the main contents of this paper. So they start with the definition of marine litter, any manufactured or processed material, including plastic, wood, metal, glass, and other things. And they also mentioned about microplastics, because the 80% of marine litter is as plastic, and it can pose a threat to ecosystems. And marine litter can transport it from the river to the sea of the world. So the abundance and distribution of marine debris should be surveyed and reported for the effective management of marine litter. So they conducted a survey in the beaches of Bay of Bengal, Bangladesh. Especially, they conducted a study on COVID-19 related items and reported the result in other papers. And they mentioned about the the public health threat from marine litter, especially in natural beach like Cox's Bazar beach. And so they mentioned that this data is first time in Bangladesh, but I already mentioned that they published the exactly same format paper in same journal, Marine Pollution Bulletin, but they do not refer their own paper. I cannot find Rakim's paper in their reference list or Islam's paper in their other paper. It is very problematic. So I think the journal should be careful about this kind of plagiarism. Yeah, plagiarism. But this kind of data can contribute to improve the waste management system. But they are suggesting plant-based biodegradable plastic. I'm not sure this is a proper suggestion for the improved waste management system, but they're suggesting regular beach debris monitoring and other things. So the aim of this study is to answer to the following question. One, what is the abundance and composition of beach litter along the coastal area of Bangladesh? Two, what is the existing beach litter management process in the observed location? But this paper, I cannot find out any related information about this question. And three, what is the spatial distribution of marine litter among the study areas? They are suggesting some information, but I cannot understand what is the characteristics of a spatial distribution of marine litter in this studied area. So they suggest some monitoring should be conducted, and they follow the Cheshire et al.'s suggestion, which is the report of UNEP and IOC monitoring guideline. So they follow the criteria for selecting monitoring site, which include the minimum length of 100 meter and small quantity of litter may need to be longer length of beach and clear access to sea, low to moderate slope and accessible nearly all the year round. And survey should not be undertaken where there is a risk of danger or protected species presence. And they selected the space sites depend on the usage of beach, including tourism and fish. And they selected the 10th site in Cox's Bazar Beach, which is the longest natural beach in Bangladesh and maybe in the world. The survey was conducted in 2017 and 2019, but I can't understand the exact meaning of this sentence, but I guess the survey was conducted from 2017 to 2018. And they said they recorded each category of marine litter along a 10-meter wide stretch from an access point, as well as it ranged from strand line to the marine inland borderline. But I can't find out exact length of survey site. They only say 10-meter wide stretch, but according to Cheshire et al., I guess the survey beach length would be 100 meters, but they do not exactly explain the length and width of the surveyed area. but they recorded the length and width, and they report the result by item of millimeter per square meter. And they counted debris items in all 10 locations, and they categorized the items by activities in study areas. But they poorly reported and poorly discussed the result on the activities, source activities of the millimeter. And then, yeah, these are results from their study. So the abundance or density was 0.14 to 0.58 items per square meter, which were dominated by the aluminum can, plastic bottle, food containers, and syringes, with the number of aluminum can 3,500 and plastic bottle 3,200. But next part, they are saying that aluminum cans 19%, followed by fishing net 9%. And refer to other papers. I can't understand. Is this result from their own survey or the Poeta et al. Survey? It is very confusing. But anyway, plastics is dominant in their study and other studies. So yeah, plastics, aluminum can, and glass mainly from shoreline recreational activities. Yeah, and from the PCA result, 95% of a variation would be explained by 7 corresponding factors. So PC1 was dominated by drink packagings, food container, fishing gear, appliance, tire, and rubber bands, whereas PC2 was controlled by basket, plastic jar, fishing net, food packs, clothing, cigarette packs, and paper. But so what? I can't find any kind of information about the source or other thing from this PCA result. So they say that these study areas can be attributed to untreated industrial activities. What is this? What kind of activity? Yeah. From hierarchical cluster analysis, HCA, we've already checked the dendrogram from their figure with a 9 debris cluster. But I've already told you I cannot find any implication from this clustering. And they refer the research from metal contents in the targeted specimen. What is this? Where is this information from? And what is implication from this reference? I can't understand. And they already tell that these plastic bags, paper, glass, etc., and a small fragment that will lift up from this element to measure the cleanness, the density of which litter were calculated according to following equation. What is this? I cannot understand the meaning of that paragraph. And they compare the result from other study, but I've already told you that the result from Nakdong River estuary 1.0 per square meter is right. I can remember because this study was conducted by OSEAN and the result of macro debris on beaches along the Nakdong estuary is like a 1.0 per square meter. But they do not refer our paper. Other papers, they have error in referencing the previous result. And they report the cleanness of the survey site by CCI value, indicating that station 6 and 7 show the dirty, mainly from tourist activities. And maybe urbanized Cox's Bazar district show the dirty value from CCI. And some stations are affected by streams and mainstream areas, and tourist, hospital, and residential source can be a source of these dirty beach. And they are suggesting some management option, including degradable polymer or more recycling and other things, but or higher taxes for these harmful product, education, stakeholder engagement. But I've already told you these kind of policy suggestions are not coupled with their own survey result, and especially higher taxes on these harmful products for protect the public health or food safety can be referred in this section. I'm not sure. And they told that no sustainable management strategy is has been adopted to control marine litter in Bangladesh. So suggested their suggestion in figure 5, but yeah, so they pointed out the uncertainty and the needs of unified strict enforcement and legislation, and the need for study on food chain toxicity, and they suggesting to benchmark global framework to improvement of waste management of Bangladesh or Bay of Bengal. And they also refer high dynamics of marine litter and suggest 3R. And they also mentioned about confounding factors affecting the distribution or transport of marine debris in this area. But the context is not that well arranged in the text of the paper. And it's a kind of a conclusion of this paper. Yeah, that's all of the paper. And we can check the supplementary. They are showing the category of marine litter they are using by material and items. And they showing the CCI categorization and factor loading from PCA. And you can understand the PC1 has a very good relationship with the fishing gear and appliances and tire and rubber band. So I can guess some fishing vessels are affecting the abundance of marine litter by the high relationship with the rubber band may be used by fishing, and some tires can be used as a fender for the fishing boat. And you can understand fishing gear has a very high relationship with the fishy one, but there are many items included in PC1, so I'm not sure. And the same way, you can understand that plastic jars has a very high coefficient value, and papers. So this is not sure. And also food packaging has a very high coefficient value. So we can guess what kind of factors are affecting fishy 2 in their result. And lastly, they are showing the composition of marine litter by items from their result. 19% is from aluminum cans, but next most abundant item can be 9% with a yellow color is a fishing net. But they reported that second abundant item was plastic bottles. So it is a blue color, maybe 5% or 6%. I'm not sure, 8%. But I cannot find out the second most abundant item from this paper. Is quite confusing. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Jung-myung. Now is discussion time. If you have any questions or comment, please tell us about it freely. We'll start.
Can I speak?
Please.
This is Muntasir Mamun. I'm from Bangladesh.
Yay!
Oh, no time.
Yeah, Muntasir, yeah. So it's very interesting to listen to your, I would say, review or commentary. One thing is for sure, wherever you go to in Bangladesh, you will never find that much aluminum can anywhere in Bangladesh, because aluminum is very easy to recycle and it has a value, and it will be picked up whenever you throw it off. It will be picked up by someone else. So that number, the 19% of aluminum can around Cox's Bazar beach. I have been working on the beach since 2005. So I have a little bit of idea. I have never seen more than 50 cans in that whole area in a year, because can has a post-consumption value. It sells with a very good price, so people picks it up and sells it. So the question you have put about the quantity of aluminum can, I think is very valid. The number the paper was showing, I would also put a question on that. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I was also wondered, aluminum can is very high value for recycling in most of countries.
Most recyclable material.
Yeah, and it's easy to recycle. We can get high value from aluminum can in the developed country or developing countries. So I'm wondering, 19% is too high. And the former paper, Dr. Jung-myung already mentioned, is paper titled Macro Marine Litter Survey of Sand Beaches. Yeah. On the paper, aluminum can didn't comprise high percentage. Is plastic bag is the highest, maybe poly bag there, and there is no this aluminum can is there. So in many aspects,
May I interrupt again? Would you mind?
Yes, please.
So the thing you have said, plastic, there's a fair bit of chance of plastic bags. You might find a lot of plastic bags around Cox's Bazar. Cox's Bazar is #1 tourist destination in Bangladesh, okay? There will be at least 1 million people will be traveling to Cox's Bazar every day. So plastic bags are pretty common, but the most dominant debris is food wrappers, sachets, single-use, let's say coffee, small sachets of coffee, teas, sweets, something like that. So I have seen thousands of them, thousands. I would say if I calculate in last 10 years data, it will be millions of small size food wrappers. I would say sachets, small, very small. I don't know whether you have seen those in Korea, but we have got the sachet culture in Indian continent. That's it.
Okay, thank you. No, okay. It has many problems, so we should ask the others to check the point. We cannot solve this problem with this paper because they didn't describe them.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for presentation. It's a surprise that this kind of problematic paper get published in Marine Pollution Bulletin. Thank you.
Thank you for the information.
Since the topic is very common and the place the report was representing, the data was representing, I have been working on that place for a very long time. It's been close to 20 years. I go to that beach. So the problem of any, I'm not being very bad, but the fact is when we put paper on international journals, we need to be very truthful to ourselves. What we do, we don't actually go by ourselves, I would rather say, because if I say the trend of data in that kind of places, it varies. It varies from time to time. It varies from node to node, because as you know, Bangladesh is very heavily populated country. If you drift 50 meters from one spot to another, the sample of data will be absolutely different from place 1 to place B. So it is very critical to find the spot first, what sort of data you want to pull. So when we were working for CSIRO, we had that same problem, because if your spot is on a very crowded place, but the whole beach is very empty, you will have a very different sets of data, and it can mislead the whole understanding about the beach. So that's it. The most important thing is I'm not from academia, so whatever the experience I have, that's from the field. I can be wrong, and I would rather say, that's it. You have to accept my shortcomings. That's it.
Thank you. This valuable information. And next time Dr. Jong Lee did, so next time I'll do it. And 13th of June, 10:30 Korean time. Okay, then see you next time.